welcome to episode 945 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Yellow.
How's it going there, sir?
It is effing cold. I don't mind telling you.
Oh, my goodness.
Is it?
Well, the East Coast is getting a bit of an Arctic weather bomb, apparently. Luckily, it seems like Halifax isn't in the line of like a lot of snow, but it was like minus 8 degrees here today. Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it was cold is what I'm getting at.
Where is the line between just cold and effing cold?
Anything past like minus 3 is effing cold.
Okay.
But I mean, we're lucky because like I know in Winnipeg today it was like minus 22 or something like that.
CJ,
Oh, yeah.
for our reference, it was 17.6 degrees.
That's not that cold.
Cold enough.
What? That's nothing. What do you
Grow up in the Chicagoland
you
area
got thin blood there.
and come back and tell us that negative 8 is
I've
cold.
lived in the Chicagoland area. I know
you
it's
got thin
cold
blood there,
Yeah.
Halifax. Come on.
Doesn't mean that I have to
Man
accept
up.
it here.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, anyway, also with me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
That's me.
How's it going?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I am good. I got a new shirt. I don't know if you
I was going to ask, is that a
shirt.
mind-boggling effect shirt?
It is a mind-boggling effects shirt.
Does
Little
it have
did I
text
know-
on it?
It does have text, yes. It says
Does
the game system can produce mind-boggling effects.
Oh, they did. Oh, they were
They didn't
too
say
scared to use
PlayStation.
the name PlayStation, huh?
I guess so.
Oh, for a second I
guess
thought we were
so.
talking about the new one.
No, but that would be a fun shirt too.
Was that a holiday gift? Did you get that for Christmas?
No, I didn't. I guess it was a Christmas gift to myself.
Well,
That still counts.
Yeah. Does that count?
That's
Okay,
self-care. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
did you get
No,
that from
somebody
like?
on Blue Sky pointed out to me that this had become a shirt, and I was like, "Well, I have to get that."
Where
can't-
do you buy that shirt?
Well, apparently it was on the Yeti.
Oh, okay,
At one of their daily shirts, but of course the time had passed,
right.
and I didn't know about it, so I had to get it off of a secondary shirt reseller.
Oh,
Maybe I'll link to it in the show notes. But it wasn't one that I'd heard of.
So
But
is this a bootleg of a Yeti shirt?
No, I believe it does.
Okay.
The artist is getting some kind of
Oh, okay.
kickback from this.
Now, are
I
you
hope
getting
they are.
kickback for this? Because
I am not.
No,
This is
no.
this
CJ
is your
doesn't.
thing.
CJ doesn't
This
take
is
money
my
for
thing.
advertising. CJ is
Oh,
advertising.
that's also true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in case people don't know, so 30 years ago, when I wrote for EGM back in 1994, one of the first things I had to do was do a
That was 31 years ago.
okay, 31 years ago. I said 30 plus, didn't I?
No.
Okay. Approximately
There you
30
go.
years
He's
ago.
rounding it off.
I'm rounding it.
My goodness.
I was doing a story about the PlayStation introduction in Japan. It was shown off at some show.
Yeah.
Of course, I had not been to that show.
No.
I did not witness the show. I was merely taking screen grabs off of a videotape and adding captions and information based on the things that I saw and were not translated that were in Japanese.
Based on the screenshots.
Based on the screenshots. So I took this screenshot of these two skeletons and wrote the caption, "The PlayStation can produce mind-boggling effects."
Now this
And little did I know that
was this from
30 years-
Kingsfield?
This is from Kingsfield. This is
Right.
from Software.
Now
Little did I
understand
know
the
30
shirt.
years on, it would be a meme.
Man, CJ is like responsible for so many memes.
Yeah.
That caption would become a meme. That caption that was probably a throwaway thing that took me 5 seconds to write in the text box.
It wasn't probably.
It definitely took me
It
5 seconds to
definitely,
write. And the text box would become a meme, and then I would be wearing a shirt of that meme 30 years on.
31.
31, whatever.
Well, wait a second. What month did you write this? Because I bet it's closer to 30 years than 31.
It was like June or July.
Yeah, see, there
Just
you
ruining
go.
the joke. You're just ruining the joke.
So, yeah. That's kind of crazy. To be wearing a shirt of
Well,
a meme that basically is something that I wrote when
I
I was
still
like
think you're
18
getting-
years old.
You're getting stiffed out of some money you're due.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, see, this is...
That's the internet.
That's the internet. That's right. Unless you're
you're, the one,
keyword cat.
you're the one choosing to put up with it. I'm
Unless
just
your
saying.
ICANN has cheeseburgers, then you're making loads off of book deals.
CJ was that cat. CJ
Yeah.
was that cat who was so hungry for cheeseburgers back in the day.
I know.
You didn't make any money off that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were scumbag Steve? Remember that?
That's not true.
That was you?
No.
It was an old college photo of you?
Did I tell you there's a wedding? One of my wedding photos is in a Wedding Fails book.
Wedding fails?
Yeah. Which is kind of humorous now.
I'm trying to think
But,
what that would have been because, yeah, that is kind of funny, actually.
I
No.
was nice enough to not say anything.
Well, that's pretty great.
What photo?
Congratulations on that.
Well, okay, so there's a photo of the wedding party,
Right.
and which included, our
If you say your wife, I'm going to lose it. Which included my wife.
which included my wife and her sister, my brother, Mike, my best man, and my wife's nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
And they were like the ring bearer and the flower girl. Anyway, the ring bearer, which is my little nephew, fell over during the picture taking. So they have a picture of us like all posed, and then him falling over and then like dragging the flower girl down too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
So there's
it's a funny picture.
There's
So
a book.
there's a book. Yeah,
Did you get paid for? Oh, I guess the photographer would own the rights to these photos.
we
someone
bought
get
out the
paid for
rights.
this?
No, I don't think so. No, I
That's
don't think
not
anyone got paid
okay.
for it. Yeah,
not
internet again.
I know
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Internet.
But I mean, when it comes to professional photographs, I mean, there are a lot of like parts in place to keep that sort of thing from happening because of what you just
There
said.
are.
I mean, like for
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know that, like when you get professional photos taken of, say, like a wedding, you have to buy the rights to those photos.
You do, and
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then you should technically get paid for anybody who, publishes those photos. But anyway,
Yeah, but is that going to buy me happiness, Greg?
couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt.
Could.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying it will,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying it won't.
Getting money due to something on the internet instead of because of the internet, paying
Yeah.
money. Yeah. Maybe.
The other thing
Maybe
is, I
that'd be
want
good.
you to put me in touch with whoever published this book because I feel like my wedding photo surrounded by a bunch of police would probably fit that bill pretty well too.
Every so often, there are social media accounts that do that same kind of thing, like funny family photos.
Right.
Right.
And the photo appears in those all the time
Huh.
too.
A lot of this is another thing. You're responsible for memes. You're responsible for because your photo from the PlayStation 2 launch night of those guys sitting there playing Madden or something on a little CRT being run, I think, from a generator. That pops up on my Facebook feed at least 4 times a year.
All the time. Yeah.
And I'm always be like, I know the guy who took that photo.
That's right. And then every April Fool's Day, the Sonic and Tails and Smash Brothers thing comes up, and then
right.
it's all
CJ
over
basically
again.
runs the internet.
I run the internet. Who knew?
Anything funny on the internet, you could
Who
trace
knew?
back to 6 degrees of separation. You can trace back to CJ.
That's right. My daughter who is watching the show upstairs right now. She loves
she's
memes.
watching this right now?
She's watching this podcast right now. She loves memes. She didn't know
Hey,
that her
CJ's
dad.
kid.
Her dad has.
You need to
is
watch
the meme
Star Trek
maker.
TNG. Give it a chance.
She's not gonna take that advice. Come on.
Well, she should. I'm glad you love Lower Decks. It's great. Now watch some TNG. There's some really great stuff there, okay?
Yeah, but don't watch it from the beginning because boy, is that first
We
season
didn't.
No.
rough.
Since we're into this now, we started a season 3 episode.
Oh yeah,
and she fell asleep.
this is what I'm saying.
Which again, 90s TV shows when they were an hour long, quite boring.
Watch
when they were an hour long, but you didn't have a whole lot of other stuff to do.
Well, that's also
true. You didn't have phones that you could be looking at, or your computer, or you didn't.
And
have
it was
internet,
UPN.
Back
what
when
else
the
were you
internet,
going to watch?
Back when the internet was a place. I saw
Tell
that
us more.
online.
Tell us more.
I saw
about
that online this week, and I thought, that makes perfect sense. Somebody was saying that, back in the 90s, you went to the internet because if you weren't at your computer,
right,
or a computer, like I know for me, when I first started going on the internet, it wasn't in my home. I was going to the university computer lab.
Oh, really?
To go on the internet.
Oh,
but it's like when you went there, you were on the internet. And then when you left, you weren't on the internet anymore. So the internet was a physical place for a lot of people. And it's not anymore. And maybe that's what's wrong with society. I don't know. Couldn't hurt. I feel like that, and we need to go back to dial-up speeds. Turn this into a long distance party line. CJ can get one of those little suction cup things that you put on the phone receiver so that we can record this show every week.
I did used to have one of those. Yeah,
I think a lot of people did, especially people who worked in the media.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Just saying.
I don't want to go back to those days, though.
I think the world might need to, is what I'm saying.
Although I did a lot with what I had. My family had an Apple IIgs.
I've heard that about you.
Wow.
I can't wait.
On your Tinder profile, wasn't it?
I can't wait that long to load up my pictures of Gillian Anderson anymore.
It's not impressive, but I really know how to use it.
Oh my.
Yikes.
Lots of practice.
My family had an Apple II GS. That was the computer that we bought.
Nice.
And I jury-rigged that thing to use a 14.4 and then later 26.6 modem,
lightning fast
to
speeds.
get on the internet. We had a local ISP that you could dial in to, so no AOL, and it was a Unix system.
Like
then you had to use Unix apps.
Really?
Yeah. So I had to use I forget what it was to browse Usenet, but there was also like an email program.
Yeah, good old Usenet.
And so like when my first website that I did, I wrote the HTML by hand because that's what you did.
As did most of us. Yep.
Yeah. And uploaded it via Unix.
That's awesome.
It was,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, maybe a little much for back in the day, but I made it in one of those net guide books. Remember those? The books that would tell you where to go find things on the internet? Do you remember that?
What a different world. Oh my God.
It would sell these huge books that were big. And it'd be like every different topic you could want, like video games and music and movies and such fan site. Yeah. You had to have a book to tell you where to go for that because the URLs weren't usually easy to remember. It wasn't as easy as GameSpot.com.
Well, I mean, because a lot of like, when you got set up with an ISP, like sometimes you get a little bit of web space you could use, but the URL was always like, I know for mine was like ns.simpatico.ca/ whatever
public
the username was.
HTML /
that was your homepage.
Oh my.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and the world was a better place back then.
I don't know that it was.
I'm just saying.
It was a.
We're less aware of how crappy it was. Maybe.
I think that's more like it. Yeah, less aware.
Ignorance is bliss. Take me back.
In general. All right. Well, let's talk about some video game stuff. Why don't we?
I don't know. I'm really enjoying this old 1990s
internet discussion.
But you do you.
I was a Prodigy boy.
You were a Prodigy boy. Okay.
I through Babbage's, I was able to get a free Prodigy account. So
I was not able to do that because I had an Apple II, and they didn't make Prodigy for the Apple II. So I couldn't do it.
Me and
You
my
had a free Prodigy account. Okay.
me and my 486
Wait, were you rich?
Huh?
What, were you rich or something?
I mean,
486.66. Jesus.
yeah, I took care of myself back in the day. I was like, if I'm going to play Day of the Tentacle, I'm going to play Day of the Tentacle the best way
I don't
possibly
think I even
can.
had a color monitor until the late 90s.
Oh,
I see.
no, I sprung for a top of the line PC back in the day. Because you know what? It was Day of the Tentacle was what pushed me into finally buying a PC.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Wing
makes
Commander
sense.
3, I didn't buy the PC, but Wing Commander 3 was finally Wing Commander 4 was the game that got me to pester my father into getting us a computer that could run something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Before that, we had like a Tandy 1000 RL.
Oh, yeah.
With an Amber monitor.
You know what finally got me to buy a PC in the late 90s is that Macs really sucked in the late 90s before Steve Jobs came back and made everything cool again.
Yeah, boy, they really fell apart, didn't they?
I was like all in on Apple, and then it was just like, well, there's no software for this, so I guess I'm getting a PC, and yeah. So play Midtown Madness on it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Midtown Madness. Bring that back, Phil Spencer.
I mean, they could do worse.
They could. Microsoft Bob, for instance.
Oh. Poor Bob.
Poor Bob. All
Nobody
right.
loves Bob.
Let's talk about some video games. CES is coming up this week in beautiful, sunny, not cold Las Vegas, Nevada. Yes, and we got a little bit of a tease from Atari that the Game Station Go handheld is going to be shown there. Of course, they showed the Game Station last year at CES, but apparently it's slightly improved now and is maybe really going to be coming out. But it's a handheld.
Sure.
It's a handheld system made by the folks who do the My Arcade handhelds, which you may recall.
I don't think I do.
I do.
Okay.
I am aware of My Arcade and their products.
I see.
They put out a whole line of like little kind of cheapo handheld devices. You can buy them at Target and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'll play like Namco games. Or
they did a
whatever.
Mega Man one.
Yeah. Well, apparently this one, it seems like it's going to come with a bunch of Atari games because the controls include a keypad and a trackball and all kinds of stuff. So we'll see what games are included with this. I don't know if you were able to see the little teaser of the
I'm looking at it now, and I find it weird how it's got like 4 shoulder buttons and 4 face buttons, and that's not what the Atari.
Well, if you want to mod the thing or
but
move,
it is cool that it's got an Atari logo on it.
Reconfigure the controls.
I do like that they have paddle controls and trackball controls.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. And the keypad makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah.
Got to play your Star Raiders,
right?
Yeah.
I had Star Raiders.
Yeah.
Did you understand Star Raiders?
I did not understand Star Raiders back in the day.
Because I sure as hell didn't.
No.
And I didn't get Star Raiders until I was like 20. And it was on a retro gaming kick. I picked up Star Raiders and I was like, I don't know what this is. Like I
got it for my birthday one year from my uncle, and the weird thing about that I remember is it didn't come in like a standard cardboard sleeve, because it had the keypad. But it came in like it was like a beige. It was like an official. It was official pack. It was official. It was packaged well, but it wasn't. I don't remember it having like a box with like box art and stuff on. I know that there is an actual like official box art for that game. I don't know what was going on, but anyway, I remember getting it, and it's just like I loved anything that had to do with space, so I was happy to play it, but I had no clue what I was doing.
I see.
When you look back at it, that was a pretty decent accomplishment for a 2600 game.
Oh yeah,
that game shouldn't have worked on the 2600. So
certainly not.
No.
All I know is that Game Station Go is the phoniest. Like, we need a non-licensed game to talk about on our sitcom.
Yeah.
At all the.
That's like one couple letters off of what's down here. The game system
absolutely
can produce mind-boggling effects. Yeah, I just lifted my shirt on YouTube.
Yeah, you did
that.
Yeah,
you got to save that for the OnlyFans, my
friend. Now we're gonna have an age gate to this video.
Get some hot naval action.
I'm all about naval action, pirate ships and such. All right, let's talk about Sega here, because an interview with Sega CEO Suji Utsumi, he made a couple of comments about miniature consoles, and specifically that they aren't planning any additional mini consoles because, quote, "We are not a retro company."
But also, please look forward to our upcoming Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi games.
Yeah, he says, "I'm not going for the mini direction. It's not me. I want to embrace modern gamers. We really appreciate our legacy. We value it, but at the same time, we want to deliver something new. Otherwise, we'll become history. That's not what we're aiming for."
I mean,
what do you think? What do you think
when
of
was
that,
the last mini
Greg?
System released from any company?
From any company?
I mean,
was it the Turbo?
The TG16, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. How long ago was that?
A couple of years now, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
you look at the Genesis 2 Mini, and that was basically a Japan only.
Exactly.
That was made for Japan, right? Yeah. I mean, and they clearly didn't want to spend any more money on that than they had to. So it was great that they did it. It was great that they celebrated it. I think it made sense because, like, with the Genesis, from like a worldwide perspective, it made sense for that to be the system that they miniaturized. When you get into the Saturn, I know it was super popular in Japan. It kind of wasn't anywhere else.
It just seems weird to be coming out with a statement about how you're not doing any more miniature systems when that fad has been dead for.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're still inundated with people saying, "When's the mini Dreamcast coming
I'm sure
out? When's
of
the mini
that.
Saturn coming out?"
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That statement doesn't bother me at all. I mean, when he says we're not a retro company, I think what he means is stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we are not that company. I think it's to put into perspective the existence of those things as kind of a one-off celebratory thing.
Yeah.
And by one off, I mean 4 off, but 5 off. But, that's not their focus, clearly.
Yeah.
I don't think that means that they won't be re-releasing bundles of old games. I mean, they've delisted all those Genesis games on Steam for some reason.
Right.
I can only imagine there's something coming down the line that they'll be able to resell that stuff.
Likely.
That makes sense to me, but
I don't want to speculate, but hey, wouldn't it be cool if Digital Eclipse was involved in some kind of
absolutely.
There it is.
Absolutely. And you know what? Maybe that's the route they'll take. It's like, we're not making this stuff anymore, but we'll license it.
Yeah. I mean, do Console Wars, the video documentary where you can play all of those.
Could you imagine?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Especially knowing the people they have working at Digital Eclipse too.
Yeah.
Like, with Chris Kohler comes to mind immediately, but Mike Micah as well, like, and Frank Cifaldi being there. Like, if they did a Console Wars type thing, it would be unreal. They would never get Nintendo to cooperate with it.
Of course not.
Still be unreal. So, but they could do it from the Sega side of things.
Well, here's what you'd have to do. You'd have to buy it on the Switch, play all of the Sega stuff within the whatever the Console Wars thing is, and then play all the Nintendo stuff on NSO.
Right.
That'd be the only way to do it.
Forwarding links. The Switch version would just link you out into the virtual console.
Out into
or NSO. Sorry,
NSO.
it's not the virtual console anymore.
Yes, indeed. All right. How do you think Sega's whole retro revamp thing is going to go? I would assume we'll hear more about that this year. This has been over a year now that we saw it at the Game Awards. So maybe 2025 will be that year. We'll see that.
I hold out hope.
Yeah.
But they've been very hit or miss on stuff like this in the past. So
yeah, and it's difficult to update classic gameplay the right way, right? It takes a special touch. I think we've seen it happen, obviously, with Sonic Mania and Streets of Rage 4.
Sure.
Perfect examples, but again, those are sort of fan-led things.
Yes.
And you need to find somebody with as much reverence and love for that thing as possible that can translate it into a new thing.
And that, to me, I think that's where it gets tricky, because these games are beloved for a reason. And sometimes it's not necessarily a completely tangible reason, right? Like sometimes it's just it's the intersection of a lot of different elements coming together, not just from the game, but also sort of the context of when it was released and what the landscape looked like back then, right? So, but like for me, I think out of everything that they've announced, Crazy Taxi is the one I'm the most interested in. But I also look back at the history of Crazy Taxi, and really Crazy Taxi 1 was the only good one. Right? Like they've done multiple sequels to Crazy Taxi, and 2 and 3 were never close to as good as the original.
No.
Yeah.
And even when you're looking at the original on the like the arcade, but also the Dreamcast, like the extra city they put into the Dreamcast release sucked.
Yeah.
Like Crazy Taxi is that San Francisco stage, and that's it. And that was when it peaked literally in its first stage, the first game, and it was downhill from there. And it's not to say that the other games were terrible, but they weren't Crazy Taxi.
I get it.
Get it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah.
I have. So I mean, I'm excited because Crazy Taxi is one of my favorite games ever. It's so good, and I mean, this past year I picked it up and played it again for an Expert Gamer Let's Read video that I put out, where I just needed some footage, and like having not played it for years, I couldn't put it down. Yeah. Like I played it for hours, and I needed like 10 minutes of footage, and I just played it for hours. I love that game so much. It's so good. And so I'm excited because I want to relive that, but I don't have great confidence that they will be able to replicate it.
Well, and the other thing there is whether, quote unquote, today's gamer is going to want to play.
And that's the other thing.
And updating it for, I mean, you have to bring in new people, I think, when you're Sega and you're trying to do this. You've got sort of Super Monkey Ball. They recently did a thing with that, like, and I don't know that really brought in a lot of new people, but like with some of these other games, I think they're going to have to. So what elements do you bring from modern gaming that you can really like mesh well with some of the older gameplay styles?
That's a really good point. Like and we were kind of having that same discussion when we were doing the Game Awards reveals, and like they showed Ninja Gaiden, right? Yeah. And I brought up that it looks amazing, and again, the classic Ninja Gaiden, I'm a fan. I'm so excited that they're basing it more on the old 2D Ninja Gaiden NES games. But then I also called out that like it looks like it has a kill combo counter in there, which might be fun. Which might be fun, but that's very much a modern thing. So it's like, well, you have to walk that fine line between appealing to the original audience but not alienating a current audience, and vice versa. And that's I mean, I'm glad I wouldn't have to do it. That's a tough call.
That's Nintendo with every single sequel they need to make.
Yeah. And that's the risk you run when you're going to keep revisiting old franchises. Yeah. Over and over and over again. So, yeah.
Very true. Well, hey, it's a slow news week this week, so I'm bringing up this one. Rare makers of Sea of Thieves, have tweeted out a sort of happy holidays thing using a new image from Everwild, which is a game they announced back in November 2019 and has still not shown up anywhere, and was rumored to have been rebooted development-wise a couple of years ago. So they tweeted out a new image. I guess that means it's not dead, right? Eh?
I never heard of this thing.
Everwild?
I don't remember it.
No.
You don't remember it. It was like a Mononoke Hime sort
Isn't
of.
that Renaissance Fair theme park that got shut down in like Utah?
No, that's different.
Oh.
I watched the documentary on that, though.
The Evermore documentary?
The Evermore documentary.
Good.
Yeah. After we watched the
Star Wars Hotel?
The Star Wars Hotel documentary. We
Good.
watched that. Yeah.
Oh, was that the same YouTuber? Was that her
Same
that did the
YouTuber,
Evermore?
yeah.
I should go watch that.
Jenny Nicholson, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
If
good.
you
was
subscribe
thinking-
to her Patreon, she has like 3 or 4
I don't have the money
extra
to subscribe to
videos
anything on Patreon.
about Evermore that
I
are
see.
equally fascinating.
When you said theme park documentary, I was thinking of was it called Adventure Park in New Jersey? Was that the one
Oh,
that was
yeah,
just
the-
like
No.
just the total death trap? What was that?
Yeah,
place
yeah,
called?
yeah.
Anyway.
Adventureland or
Yeah,
No.
something like that.
yeah,
Anyway,
Adventure Park.
I thought it was
I don't-
Adventure
That's a
Park.
great
name.
documentary, though. I love that
Someone
documentary.
in the comments. is
Someone
probably,
in the chat will know, right?
yeah.
Action Park.
Action Park.
Yeah.
There it is.
Anyway,
Great documentary.
it is. Yeah.
All right. So Everwild, maybe we'll see another game from Rare in 2025. That would be pretty good. All right. So PlayStation boss Herman Hulst has said that he's open to bringing back old IPs.
Jumping Flash. Here we go.
In an interview with Famitsu, he said, the various IPs that we own are an important asset to PlayStation, and as part of our efforts to strengthen our portfolio, we are continually looking at opportunities to leverage past IP as well as develop new franchises.
PlayStation
Okay.
2 Mini. You heard it here first.
So, Jet Moto,
Jet Moto.
gonna
God.
bring that one back?
They have so many if you're going back to like old PlayStation, they had some really good IP, but they have so much C tier garbage as well. I seem to remember anyway. Like Jet Moto falls
Jet Moto.
squarely into that category.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We got a Jet Moto hater here, folks.
You know, we're bringing back 989
It
Sports.
was never good.
Oh
989
my.
Sports. Hey, 989 released Bust the Groove, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, Jumping Flash could be cool. Parappa
You
the
bet it
Rapper. Bring back Parappa.
Medrun.
Bring
back
Let's
Ribbon.
bring back the old 16-bit movie games like Hook,
There you go.
Cliffhanger.
Hey, I loved
Are-
Hook on Sega CD.
So, are there any other PlayStation IP that you would want to see come back, other than Jumping Flash? Come on, Blasto.
Oh, we can't. You can't. You can't do Blasto without
Can't do
Philip
Blasto.
Hartman.
That's true.
Come on. You know what's funny
I have trouble.
is Twisted Metal, obviously one of Sony's big franchises back in the PS1 day,
Yes.
recently got a surprisingly good TV series.
Yeah, it did.
You know, there
Which
are
there's
no-
supposed to be a second season of that.
Yeah,
right?
they're making a second season, which is great. But there are no Twisted Metal nods in Astrobot.
Oh, interesting. Why is that the case?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. It's kind of horror themed, though. It'd be a little gruesome, wouldn't it?
I mean,
Sweet Tooth.
there's an Astrobot dressed up as like Pyramid Head.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
But that's not a Sony IP.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's in the game.
That's EA.
No, that's EA Sports.
Oh no, you're right. Because Zany Golf.
EA Sports.
Zany Golf was before EA Sports.
Right. That's what got them in the game.
No.
You clearly don't understand history.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no like Sweet Tooth.
It is weird though, where they released that TV series and
Right.
like, but we're still not even talking about it as a game series.
Although, if I'm being fair, Sweet Tooth was the name of the vehicle. The clown is Needles Kane. If you are a true follower of Twisted Metal lore, like myself.
See.
You know, I was not a Twisted Metal fan at all.
Oh, really?
No.
I really enjoyed the first game. I loved Twisted Metal 2.
Twisted Metal 2 was the peak.
Yeah.
At least on the PlayStation.
3 was terrible. 4 was terrible.
Yeah.
Small Brawl
I heard that was decent.
was pretty good. I'm cool because it was
Single
Chibi.
track.
it was single track. It was the original developers.
Yeah.
Um,
Single track was really prolific in the early days of the PlayStation. What was that sub-based game that they remember that? It was like a shooter.
that you know what? It was probably years and years ago at this point, but I believe that game ended up on like one of those EGM review quizzes we do in our after shows.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. Subnautica?
No, it was Critical Depth.
Critical Depth.
Actually,
You know what I bet? I probably
did
guessed.
the Jet Moto games. This is,
Yeah, I probably guessed it was Subnautica back in the day.
yeah.
But I enjoyed Twisted Metal Black as well.
That was kind of the return to form. I remember that being a big deal.
Yeah.
We put it on the cover of EGM, I remember.
And then it just went away.
Just like, hey, this is Twisted Metal's back, baby.
Yep.
And I remember it being really well received. It looked great.
Yeah. I enjoyed Twisted Metal Black. But
The rumor was that they were working on a Twisted Metal game for around the time the TV show was coming out, but apparently it got canceled. Yeah. What about SOCOM? You remember SOCOM?
I do.
That's something they could bring back. Anyway, we got some Switch 2 leaks. Now that it's
these always turn out to be real.
Got a bunch of people showing off Joy-Con and stuff. It's always fun to see these leaks, but it does remind me of some of the Apple leaks that have happened over the years, where yes, we're seeing the hardware, but we don't yet know what the system itself can do. And like, that's the part that I'm really interested in seeing. Yeah. Like, you could show me like, well, the new pictures of the Joy-Con have a little optical sensor, like on a mouse on one of the top of the Joy-Cons, leading to the rumor that a Joy-Con could be used as a mouse as well, which is interesting. But to me, that's the sort of thing that you don't know until Nintendo shows you a game that you really want to play that uses that thing, right? So that'll be the part that's exciting to me whenever that happens. Supposedly, allegedly, before March 31st, 2025. We'll know something more about it. But anyway.
If these images are real, I'm a little disappointed because that means that they're not worrying about ergonomics again.
Well, of course they're not.
Well, not of course they're not. Anyway,
I am not shocked in the slightest that they're not concerned about ergonomics, even though I am concerned about ergonomics and really want. I'm sure Hori will make a great ergonomic pad for the Switch 2, and I'll buy that. And it won't have rumble and whatever else is needed to play Switch 2 games, but I'll like it anyway. But I'm kind of hyped for Switch 2. I want this is the year, right? This is definitely the year. It's gonna happen.
Mario Kart 9, end of the year.
I don't know about that, but
hey,
I want it to. I want it to happen.
That's right. We're willing it into existence.
Okay.
So I won't have your negative Nelly crap.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Okay. I'll stay positive. Stay
All right.
positive. All right. I guess now it's time for what you've been playing. We're done with the news. A lot of things not happening.
Hold on a second.
What's that?
I need to interject.
Uh-oh.
Interject.
And I'm going to complain.
Complain. Do it.
Last week, we talked about Greg and I on the right side of history complaining about how it is wrong to do end of the year awards before the year has ended.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And
Phil
you were all
wants to revise his
snarky.
list.
Huh?
Phil wants to revise his list.
I do. I need to.
Why?
Because one of our categories in our Game of the Year show is the biggest surprise of 2024.
Yeah.
And I said my biggest surprise was seeing the revival of EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, through the outstanding EGM Compendium Kickstarter. But right there, December 30th, 2024, after we recorded, yet still in the calendar year for which we were discussing awards, a bigger surprise occurred.
Oh.
And that surprise is as follows.
Please tell us.
The classic PC RPG / shop simulator Recettear, which came out many years ago, is receiving a high definition remake to be released in the new calendar year of 2025. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever played
never heard of it.
Recettear.
I have never played it. No.
Have you heard of Recettear?
No.
I think I've heard the name, but
Okay.
that's it.
Well, you two are both very behind on the times. Recettear. When did Recettear come out? I'm going to look this up real quick. Recettear, an
I
item
mean, you're
shop's
supposed to know
tale.
all about it. Why don't
What's
you
that?
tell us? Why don't you tell us, Phil?
Well, it came out in 2007.
Oh.
So it's an old game. Recettear was a game that I had heard about. Someone was talking about it online way back in 2007. And it sounded good. And I picked it up on the Steam, where you can pick it up today, I will have you know. And it is a ton of fun. It's a like I said, it's a RPG. And it's kind of split. You're a little shopkeeper girl, and you run your little store. And so half the game is shop management, putting stuff on your shelves, arranging the store to get, the best products close to the windows to attract people in, and setting prices to get sales so your store is profitable. And then when you start running out of merchandise, you head off into a dungeon, and it turns into like kind of an ease style game. You're running around dungeons, hacking and slashing, fighting monsters, collecting treasures, collecting items. And you use some of those items to make your character stronger. You use some of them to craft things with. You use some of them to sell in your shop. And that's the gameplay loop. And it is a blast. It is adorable. It is fun in both modes. And they're doing a remake. And I am genuinely stoked.
Nice.
It is up there with one of my, I mean, it's no Lunar Collection, okay? But
yeah.
But it is absolutely one of my most anticipated games of this new year. I cannot wait for Recettear HD.
Cool.
And as is being pointed out in our chat, it's great on Steam Deck, CJ.
I have one of those.
That's what I'm saying.
How much is it? Should I pick this up and try it?
I don't know. I bought it in 2007 for crying out loud.
Well,
I haven't
come
looked.
on, you're supposed to know these things.
I don't-
Phil.
Oh, let's see. A receipt.
What's a tier?
Well, it's currently 20 bucks. It's currently $20. It was probably cheaper a week ago.
Yeah, it probably was.
You probably missed a sale. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to pay $20. Maybe
Wait till Christmas.
Well, you know what? Wait till
Wait till
there'll be
Lunar New Year.
a spring sale.
Yeah, there will be. Yeah.
There's usually a Steam spring
I
sale.
have 19 friends who already own this game.
Look at that.
I didn't even know I had 19 friends.
I have 24 friends who own this game. Look at that.
see.
User reviews overwhelmingly positive.
Oh, and there's a demo.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah, so hey,
Oh,
maybe I'll download that.
you should absolutely download that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, it's what a great game.
I see.
So,
Well, before we get to what you've been playing, I did want to point out. So,
we got a quick ad break.
quick ad break here.
Mm-hmm.
There other podcasts, other gaming communities have kind of done a little something like this in years past, and so
What are you going to
we're gonna
drop
do
on us
something-
with no warning?
Yeah, seriously.
we're going to do something on the P1 Discord and do a fantasy critic league. Yeah, so if you're interested in a fantasy critic league where you pick games and then based on the review
Is this
score you
like-
get points.
Is this like the old critic show?
No.
Oh, so okay.
So you draft 2025 video games, and then based on how well they review, you get points.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
What is it based on, like Metacritic?
Yes,
Okay.
based on Metacritic.
Pretty
So, so we're going to do this in the P1 Discord. So if you're interested, anybody in the listening audience who may want to participate in a fantasy critic league, join up on our Discord. There will be a link in the show notes to that. And yeah, we've got a little fantasy critic thread going on the Discord, and would love to have you. It'll be a lot of fun. We're going to draft games coming up here in a little over a week, and I think it'll be a lot of fun.
will you be the one to take home the $10,000 prize?
There's no monetary prize.
Yeah, no,
It's
don't.
not draft
Will
games.
you be the one to win the no prize at all? Will
Possibly.
you take home the bragging rights?
Possibly.
There you go.
So anyway, Phil, why don't you tell us about what you've been playing?
Who, me? Not
There's no
bloody
other
much.
Phil here.
I'll tell you that. I have not played much this week. What I have been doing in lieu of playing new games that I should be playing, like Indiana Jones, that you know,
This feels like it's not going anywhere.
I want to be excited to play that game, but
Indiana Jones?
That's not happening for you?
I don't know. I enjoy my time with
Wait,
it.
does this mean do I get to talk about how right I was about this, like you do every time we bring up Plucky Squire? Or
Oh boy, that game. You know what? I do genuinely enjoy my time with Indiana Jones when I start playing it. But every time I think, do I want to start playing this? I kind of convince myself that I don't want to get into it right now. I don't know what it is. It's an odd blend of enthusiasm and just
Apathy.
yeah.
which I guess apathy is the word to put to that noise.
That's where I got to with it as well, which because at first I didn't really like what I was playing, but then convinced myself that if I just critical path it,
Yeah.
set it on easy and critical path it, then I will get into it. And I had one session where it's like, this is okay. And then I never felt compelled to pick it back up again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. But so what I've been doing, kind of like, I think I mentioned like a week or two ago where I started playing like the SteamWorld Dig games again. I've just been doing stuff like that, playing old games that I've been wanting to play or replay. The main thing I've been playing this week actually getting into what I have been playing was the Castlevania Dominus Collection.
I should have bought that while it was on sale.
Yes, you should have. This is, of course, the most recent Castlevania collection. It is the collection of the 3 Nintendo DS Castlevania titles. And in particular, I have been replaying my favorite of those. All 3 of those games I enjoy quite a bit. But my favorite, far and away, is cripes. Souls. The Souls. What the hell's the name of it? I'm getting all the subtitles. Dawn of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow. The one where you collect
one by far.
Yeah. I get all the titles mixed up. I'm an old man, you know. There's so many portraits and dawns and harmonies and, you know, Castlevania subtitles. You know how they are.
Oh yeah, especially when we got onto the DS, because everything had to incorporate DS somehow.
I know, right? Everyone thought they were so clever with their dragon songs and their dual symphonies and all that stuff. But so I've been playing Dawn of Sorrow, which is a fantastic Castlevania game. And yeah, that's actually like really the bulk of what I've been playing. I've been just spending a lot of time getting through that. I'm actually pretty close to the end.
It's a great game.
It is. I finished it back in the day, of course. And I've been wanting to replay it for years now, and here's a good way to do it.
It was nice to see that, and I don't know if it's going to open the door for more DS ports.
Yeah,
because the DS is one of those systems, right? That's so odd.
Yeah,
that if there's just a lot of games that are locked on that system.
It's true.
A lot of really good games that are locked on that system. So when they announced and released the Dominus Collection, I was like, yes, please, let's see more of this.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we will, but still, it's great that it's happened, at least for these games.
And it's tricky too, because obviously the DS had the dual screen layout. And it's interesting the way that this game handles it. And I believe it's been a while since I actually fiddled with the options until I found one that I liked. But yeah, I believe you can.
You just rearrange the screens, can't you?
Yeah, like you can view them, the top and bottom.
And I think that I forget which one it is because I don't remember all the names of these either.
See,
the one that, but I don't count them as one of my favorite games. So you know.
Well, I didn't say it was one of my favorite.
There's one of them that you would draw on the screen, and apparently they've streamlined that here too. You don't have to do that.
Well, Dawn of Sorrows,
yeah. Oh, is it Dawn of Sorrows that does that?
Does have because they do the thing. One of the gimmicks in that game was when you defeated a boss, you would draw like a little, a little symbol on the screen to sort of capture the boss's soul.
Right. And
the way that they adapted that is to translate it to button presses instead. So
unless you're on the Switch, you can still do the touchscreen stuff on the Switch, I believe.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah, I feel like if you're playing in handheld mode,
yeah, it's still there. Is what I'm saying.
Which I'm not, but
yeah.
Although I will say there is another function in Dawn of Sorrows where at some point, because you'll occasionally come across like ice blocks that are blocking routes within the castle. And, at some point in the game, you get a soul, which gives you a new power. And on the old system, you would just tappa the ice blocks to shatter them and, form like stairways and things like that to reach whatever levels. To do that in this game, if you're, again, assuming you're not playing in handheld mode, actually, I guess the PS5, you could probably do it with like the touchpad, right?
I imagine you could, but I don't know if the feature's there.
But the way it works, like on Switch, if you're using a Pro Controller, which is what I am doing, is you use the right analog stick. And as soon as you touch the right analog stick, it puts a little cursor on the screen. And then you just move the cursor around and hold down, I think it's the right trigger to activate the touching motion, which works. It's not fun.
No.
But luckily that only happens at a few locations in the game, and you're not really being surrounded by enemies or anything like that. So,
right.
But otherwise, it is still an outstanding Castlevania game, and I'm having a lot of fun just going around killing enemies, trying to harvest their souls, gain all my new powers and abilities. So
nice.
But yeah, that's really all I've been playing. Nothing terribly exciting, but something fun that I am enjoying. So
that's important, Phil.
There. So that's me. CJ.
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Well, not much, really.
Was it Castlevania?
Nope.
Maybe one that you don't remember the title for?
Harmony of Dissonance.
It's probably Harmony of Dissonance.
Probably that one.
That was a good game.
It was a good game.
Yeah, I don't think I played a whole lot of those.
Jesus.
DS.
The DS was really?
No, I don't think I
you
did.
Should.
Maybe I should.
The Nintendo handhelds post 2000s, just an embarrassment of riches when it came to Castlevania content. My God, we were getting so many good Castlevania games on those consoles.
We really were.
For so long.
Yep.
Maybe I should go back and play that.
Pick up. Did you pick up that Castlevania collection?
No.
The Dominus
collection? Dominus collection? No, I've not picked it up.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Okay, maybe I should.
Put that on the list next to Reciteer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm in this point right now where it's like I don't really want to play. Like I'm not driven to play anything really. Like
CJ's bored with video games.
CJ hates video games.
Not bored with video games, but
no, CJ did
never get to episode 1000.
CJ did gift me a copy of Mini Shoot Adventures for Steam.
I did.
I have not had a chance to play yet.
Which you should definitely play because it is fantastic.
I want to play it on my Steam Deck, but I'm also going to be lending my Steam Deck to your best friend Mike for a couple weeks. So,
why would you do that? Just tell him to
go
on
a trip.
Tell him to buy his own Steam Deck.
That's pretty mean.
You're not getting that back.
You're not getting.
He's going on a trip. He's going to say he was mugged.
Sorry, customs took it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't really been playing a whole heck of a lot. I did load up Infinite Wealth for like 10 minutes yesterday, by the way, Phil.
Well, I mean, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I got
Buckle
pretty far.
Only
10 minutes.
Did you
knock 10 minutes off your 100 remaining hours?
I went back to Ichiban's hotel. That was it. The end.
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, so I haven't really been playing too much of anything. My daughter has been really into Batman Arkham Shadow on the Quest.
Oh.
She, of course, is loving the DC heroes and villains, and Batman Arkham Shadow is one of those games that came out. I picked it up, had not played it. She's down with Batman. She heard about the game and then really wanted to play it. So she has been punching bad guys and going to jail, going to Blackgate Prison.
Does Batman get arrested in that game?
Switching, like collecting contraband and all kinds of stuff in VR. So she's been doing all of that. And it's been really funny to watch and listen to her punch.
You should record some of that and play it back for her.
Oh, I already have some.
Okay.
I already have some videos that I sent off to her mother as well.
I have a great video of this woman I was dating for quite a while. The first time she tried VR, it was PlayStation VR, and it was that Until Dawn game, the roller coaster.
Rush of Blood.
Rush of Blood, which I loved. I loved Rush of Blood. So it's like she wanted to try something. I was like, well, try this out. Right. She wasn't a horror game or a horror movie person at all. And and my buddy Jim was here at the same time. And I have video of her sitting in this armchair right here, just screaming her head off and like ducking and like freaking out. And her hands are just shaking. It was the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just I still every now and then I don't know, I have it stored somewhere and I just sort of run across it sometimes when I'm looking for other files and I have to sit and watch it because it's so funny.
Well, anyway, Arkham Shadow, really impressive game done by Camouflage, who's now part of Meta Studios,
which is why we'll never get it on PSVR 2.
Yeah, you won't. You need to get a Quest 3 or a Quest 3S to play it.
I know.
But very impressive game so far. Apparently, it's like 13 hours long. It's a long game. It's a full featured game. So, and I've watched a little bit of a playthrough, and yeah, I mean, it looks great. I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet myself, but I will.
Reminds me of the My Life in Gaming guys. Every year they do a video, just what we played in the previous year, which is always great because it always ends up extending my wish list as far as games I want to try. But Try, one of the two hosts over there, he got into VR this year and he ended up getting a Quest. He was looking at PSVR 2, but he ended up getting a Quest instead because he tried them both and that's what he wanted. And he didn't get too deep into VR games because I don't think he had the time. But the two games he mentioned that he really liked was Walkabout Mini Golf.
Oh, love it.
And Humanity.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yay.
So I was thinking of you when he brought up Walkabout Mini Golf, obviously, but then the next game he talked about was Humanity.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Walkabout Mini Golf, by the way, just continues to be awesome. We have a group that plays every Saturday.
Frequently, yeah.
On the P1 podcast Discord, if you're interested in that. I played the 8-bit. So they did an Evil Layers sort of series where they do like evil villain layers as mini golf courses. And there's one called 8-bit Layer. And it is like, a world dominating villain who really likes video games, old arcade games.
Nice.
It's great. That one was a lot of fun. Played that last week. But yeah, they have a lot of great courses, and I continue to love that game. It's fantastic. As for what I've been playing, I have one game on the list here. And that's Void Crew.
I was afraid you weren't going to talk about this because you kept saying you weren't playing much. I'm really curious to hear about this one.
Void Crew. I think I talked about it a little bit before.
I wasn't listening last time.
It is a multiplayer from 1 to 4 players space roguelike game set up kind of like Sea of Thieves, where you have a multiplayer crew and you need multiple players really to do different things around the ship. It's very much like Star Trek Bridge Crew VR, which we played. Like the experience is very similar, but it's more of a roguelike in that you select different missions to do, and nothing happens exactly the same way twice. And you get different resources that then you can craft into new weapons or add more power to the ship so you can put more systems online. And it's just a really fun co-op space game. And we're playing it. I of course, had bought a copy for Mike to try to get him to play it. And then he ended up buying copies for like a bunch of our Sea of Thieves friends. So suddenly we had like this community of people who were ready to play Void Crew. So we would have 4 players pretty regularly. And we did get to the point. So it is like a roguelike. You have like different missions and then you get up to a boss stage And so we finished a boss stage, which is like it was a big deal because when I had played it before, we'd get like 2 missions in and then die. And so like getting to the boss stage was like this big thing. So we got to that, finished the boss, which was awesome. After each mission, you have to jump. You have to basically go and void jump into a tunnel that'll allow you to like take a minute's rest and then select where you're going next.
Mm-hmm.
So we finish the boss. We jump into the void tunnel. And the thing with this game is occasionally the void tunnel will start to disintegrate, and you can get kicked out of it and into like enemy space by accident. So we finished the boss. We're in this void tunnel. The integrity of the tunnel is like at 0%, which means we're going to get kicked out and attacked like any second. Mike is at the helm, like screaming his head off, like somebody set a course for a new mission. And then we got kicked out of the void jump and absolutely destroyed by these aggressive aliens. And it just went to total shit. So we had this victorious moment where it was awesome, and then followed immediately by we got destroyed and absolutely murdered.
Nice.
Which was fun too.
So I was over at your best friend Mike's place, and he was talking about the game and he was describing it. And yeah, when he first started describing it that was my first thought, is like, it sounds like Bridge Crew.
It is like Bridge Crew,
which I loved playing Bridge Crew. Like,
it's such a fun, in VR or not in VR,
even not in VR, but in VR it was great. But yeah, playing Bridge Crew, I loved that experience so much. So I'm a little interested in this.
Void Crew, very similar. Similar. I mean, you have to do different things on the ship and repair during battles. And when you get to like some downtime, you may have to EVA and repair the outside of the ship as well.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of cool. And there are missions where you have to get out of the ship and go to a place and do something and then come back to the ship. I mean, you can loot, abandoned spaceships or like different wrecks in space as well. Like, it's really, really fun. It's out on Steam now.
Sounds interesting. I
think it'll probably end up making it to console at some point. It is a fully controller compatible game now, which it wasn't when it was launched into early access, but pretty pleased with it. It's called Void Crew and available on Steam now. That's all I've been playing.
Sounds interesting.
Greg, what do you got for us?
So I got a code for this game late last year. I don't remember exactly when it came out. Actually, I'm looking at it. It came out in October. Called A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead. So it's takes place in the same universe as the original John Krasinski film. But obviously there have been 3 of those now. And last year, I believe, Quiet Place Day 1 came out. I think that actually got a theatrical release, but the first 2 were like Netflix exclusives. So if you've never seen A Quiet Place, first of all, I highly recommend the movies. They're really good. I don't know if either of you have watched them.
No, I have not.
The whole point of the whole thing that happens in A Quiet Place is that Earth's been invaded by this blind alien species that that locates everything via sound, and they're very violent and very strong, and so basically all the survivors in the world need to be extremely quiet, because even the slightest noise, they will home in on you and kill you, basically. So so the first movie takes place like after all this has happened, and also the sequel, but the movie that came out last year, Quiet Place Day 1, is actually a story that takes place during the invasion. And it's really good, by the way. I watched it a couple weeks ago for the first time, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So anyway, Quiet Place: The Road Ahead is kind of the same thing. Like day one has nothing to do with the characters in the first two movies, although there is one character in day one that is in the first sequel, but he's not like a main character. So they've kind of got to this point now in the franchise where they're making movies that are sort of just in the universe, right? And that's what The Road Ahead is as well. So The Road Ahead takes place in the time, well, it takes place a little bit on day one. There's some flashbacks that happen on day one, but then it's about 3 or 4 months into sort of the past that first invasion. But it's a totally self-contained story where you're playing as a character named Alex Taylor, who is well, I won't get into it too much, but anyway, you're trying to get from point A to point B basically as quietly as possible. And it's a first-person game. You move extremely slowly because the entire gameplay premise is that you need to get where you're going as quietly as possible. So like if you're opening a door, you don't want to open them too fast because they might squeak. And if you're walking, you don't want to be running unless you're on a certain surface because your footsteps will be very loud. And like, all the environmental puzzles that you expect. I mean, the world's in ruins. So like if you need to get from one side of a courtyard to another, it's like, well, hey, there's broken glass everywhere. So you got to be careful because that'll make noise, or there might be puddles. And if you walk through puddles too quickly, you'll splash and that makes noise. And there are a lot of stealth sections where these creatures will be there, but again, they can't see you. So as long as they don't touch you or hear you, they won't attack. Right. So these, again, a lot of what you expect, which is like you find an item like a bottle and you throw it to distract them and they'll go, look and see what all that's about. So I guess it's really more, it's not a shooter, but it's more survival horror in a way, but I'm really enjoying it a lot. It's different. It's, it's not something that I'm used to playing. And one of the things that they've done, which I think is really interesting, but it's also very nerve-wracking, is that obviously in a game like this, they don't want you to just sort of hide and sit in a corner and just sort of wait to safely make a move. So they made the main character asthmatic. So basically there's two things. Three things actually. So so Alex is asthmatic. So like if you have to do a lot of climbing to get over obstacles and things like that, which you do, it adds strain, right? Stress to her lungs. There's a little icon on the screen that shows her lungs. And so like the redder they are, the closer you are to an asthma attack. Oh. So of course she'll cough and you're dead basically. So that affects it. The creatures being close affects her asthma. The closer the creature is, the faster her heart's beating and her asthma, you get closer to an attack. And then the other thing is that they love to put you in areas where there's a lot of dust in the air. So that's sort of just this like general, like the longer you're here, the worse, right? The worse off she's gonna be. And it's funny because like there was actually an area that I was just in the last time I was playing it. I think it's only like 8 or 9 chapters long. There was an area I was in where I had to move through a ruined building that had a lot of like glass and other debris on the floor. And you're sort of going through areas that, where I am right now, the National Guard was there at one point, and they had set up noise traps because, much like any other sort of apocalyptic or like zombie, like The Walking Dead or something like that, obviously the whole story here is that the real enemy is the human. Or like
my God,
the Last of Us, right? So, because there's raiders and all that sort of thing that you had to deal with. So anyway, there's all these noise traps. So, but I had to go into this building where it was dusty. There were noise traps everywhere that I had to diffuse basically. And only certain areas on the floor you had to walk, or when you were on these areas that made noise, you had to walk extremely slowly. And the whole time there was a creature prowling up on the roof above me, which was affecting her stress level. So it was just like, the way that you deal with that is that you can find pills, and depending on the difficulty level you're playing, there are more or less of them around. And if you just pick them up, she uses them immediately, and that sort of reduces her stress level and helps her lungs and that sort of thing. Or you can find and carry puffers. And so those are things, when you use those, it resets sort of, it brings her lungs back to full health, basically. And also, I think for a few seconds, nothing affects her asthma. But in this room, it was dusty. This creature was right above me, so it was affecting her stress level all the time. And I tore through every single puffer I had to just get through this little area. So my stress level is quite high now in the area that I'm in, because I don't have anything to help her asthma at this point. And like, I'm climbing ladders and I'm jumping over obstacles, but I'm really enjoying it. They've recreated the world really nicely. And it's just a different feel to anything that I've played before. And I really enjoy this universe. I really enjoy the films. So it's just kind of nice to be in this world and have it be so well realized, that I enjoy. The one thing that I do have a problem with right now that I'm kind of pissed about, but I know why they did it, because they want to make sure that they're moving the narrative forward, is I've got a radio buddy now, which feels weird because, like, well, I mean, if I can hear them, it feels like the creatures should be able to hear them.
Wait, they can't hear?
No,
I figured you'd have to get to like some real secluded area to use it.
Well, that's the thing. So there's this one section, and actually the radio buddy is gone now, but there's this one section, like, Alex, you all started out in a hospital. You're in part of a community that's in a hospital, and the hospital gets attacked. And so everyone scatters, and Alex is trying to find her father. Right. And at one point you find him, in this old base camp for the National Guard. And it's like, well, there's a radio tower that we need to fix. I need you to go out and fix that. Okay. But he's like, here's a radio, so I can talk to you, but obviously you can't talk to me because that would make noise. So they come up with a whole thing where it's like, you tap the mic once for yes and twice for no. But like, he's still talking into the radio. And I mean, it's quiet, but anyway, it's weird. It was a really weird thing they threw in. It was, again, to sort of forward the story, because there's a whole event that kind of starts to happen, and then you come across it at the very end, and then that part of it goes away. But it was kind of, it definitely took me out of the, I don't know, out of the experience a little bit. But that being said, I'm still really enjoying it a lot. So, I don't know if I still will, but, I'm a little over, I think, halfway through the game, and it's slow because you're moving slowly a lot of the time, and it's getting more difficult. Like, I know after this sort of big event that I just dealt with, I'm now in this little courtyard where there's again one of these creatures roaming around, and I haven't quite figured out how to get past them. I think it's probably the closest, most intricate area I've been in that I'm having to try to avoid this thing. There's lots of objects to throw, but they're not gone that long when you distract them. And I haven't quite figured out exactly where I have to go in here. But either way, I'm really enjoying it. Recommend it, especially if you are a fan of that universe, if you've seen the films or one of the films or whatever. And I really recommend them. They're, I think they're really well done, and I really enjoyed day one. So yeah, but that's what I've been playing.
Alrighty, well, I guess that's it for that. So that means we're doing tweets.
Do we call them tweets anymore?
Tweet.
Good point. Maybe we can't call them tweets.
Let's do this one. Want.
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Pro Wrestling Tees, who says, is anyone going to hold Greg's feet to the fire for choosing a dopamine factory he played for 10 days as game of the year?
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Fighting words.
Still playing it.
You still playing?
Still
Answer
doing
the question, Greg.
Still doing
Yeah,
run.
answer it.
Well,
Defend your opinion, Greg.
They're asking you guys, not me.
Who do you? Well, that's why I'm holding your feet to the fire.
I could use that. But this floor is really cold.
What do you have to say for yourself, Greg?
I'm sorry you guys picked the wrong games.
I don't think I did. I think I picked the right game. It is you.
No, the internet told me that Astrobot did not deserve to win Game of the Year because it's a kid's game.
Oh, is that right?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's exactly why it deserved to win.
I'm just saying what the internet told me.
Really?
I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you what.
Hey, look. The official awards of the video game industry have come out and said that Astrobot is the champion. Although
That's
Balatro was nominated, right?
Yes,
it was, yeah.
So there you go.
I was shocked to hear Balatro on your list.
I'm still playing it. I'll be honest. Still playing it any chance I get.
I get it because I know people who are addicted to it. Yeah.
I played a little bit, as you know.
Yep.
I
Not
played
for
a
you.
little bit.
Not for you. Huh?
I mean, I get why people like it. I get why
I've had
people like it.
Multiple people reach out since the show last week to say they tried it because of the fact that it was on my list and tell me that they just love it.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
It's great. It's a great game. Try it out, man. I mean, I know Phil didn't. I'm just saying to our listeners in general. Try it out. It's great.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it seemed very good. Just not my type of game. But I understand why people like it.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Compo, who says, what's your favorite ending credits sequence for a game? Personally, I'm partial to Super Mario Worlds.
I think my favorite is
ending
Portal.
credit sequence?
Portal.
Oh. Yeah, because you got the song.
That's a really good one.
That's a good one.
And it was totally unexpected at the time, which made it even better.
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good answer.
That's
actually maybe the best answer.
The outline, because I saw Compo ask this like back on the 27th, and we didn't do tweets in our last episode. I was like, I want to put this in here because my immediately came to mind was Portal.
Yeah,
Portal.
That's a really good one.
Mine is Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, the Star Wars style scroll
ending. Well, no, there's just an ending. The ending of I guess it's not a credit sequence, but they show where all of the characters ended up.
CJ doesn't understand the assignment.
No.
Oh, fine. Fine.
But it was cool because they did the credits for that game were done in like a Star Wars style isometric scroll.
I don't know if I remember that part.
That was cool. Especially in like 1994.
Or Smash Brothers, where you had to attack the
yeah.
And
yeah.
That was fun.
Well, they stole that from Altered Beast, but yes.
Yeah.
Was that an Altered Beast?
Yeah, you could attack the credits and all.
I do not remember that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Was that in the Genesis one or the arcade?
Yep. Genesis.
Really? Boy, I don't remember that at all.
Well, we got two questions about the Steam Deck, so I'm just going to lump them together. This one from Acralius Cheap Cheapo, who says, just got a Steam Deck early Christmas present. Do you guys have one and use it? And then another one from Acralius Grain Geek John, who says, the Steam Deck has been a game changer for me, allowing me to play several games whilst remaining present on the same room as my family. After a several-year break since my son was born, I've played and completed some fantastic games this year. What's been your biggest game changer? I think off TV play in general has been a huge game changer for me from the time of the Wii U to the Switch and beyond. Like whether it's Steam Deck, PlayStation Portal, or Switch, like just having that flexibility to play on any screen, or if the main screen in your house is taken, is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I have a Steam Deck. I haven't used it a lot in the past probably 6 months or so. I don't know why. It's just that the games that I've been playing have not, I've had them on console. But man, when Vampire Survivors came out, my Steam Deck got a lot of use. And then there was another game that I was playing last year that I played mostly on my Steam Deck as well. And I do, now that I've got Mini Shoot Adventures, and also one of our other listeners, Tiger Riot, gifted me Parking Garage Rally Circuit. I do want to break out the Steam Deck and start playing it again. But again, your best friend Mike is borrowing it for a couple weeks. So
there you go. Steam Deck is awesome. I play a lot of games on Steam Deck, playing Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D on it.
Nice.
Looks great. The OLED screen on the newer model is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the OLED version.
It's real good. It's real good. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on various social networks like Blue Sky, Threads, and X. Or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Seward. You'll find Generation 16 episodes as they happen. You'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about during this episode, and a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 Podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks on, the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitch televisions, all over the dang place. Just follow one of our many social media accounts to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 specific time. So join us, won't you? And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. You know, CJ and Greg, they're spending so much time talking about the Steam Deck. It's making me very sad that I don't have a Steam Deck. So,
oh my God.
So
there you go.
You know, Patreon.
Would you use a Steam Deck if you had a Steam Deck? Would you use it? You're not really a handheld gamer.
But you know, it's for the show. It's research. You know, it seems like, you know, it might not be a bad idea. I'll talk to CJ off the air about this. We'll get this all straightened out. Don't worry, folks.
I mean, I need a Quest 3, clearly. So,
gosh, you know, I do
have
too.
Now that
I got a Quest 2 over there, just like as garbage nowadays.
It's literally a doorstop. It's holding open the door.
So, you know, how am I going to play this new Batman game I've been hearing so much about lately?
True, you can't.
Children are playing this game, and I don't even have access
children.
to it. Yeah, my goodness. So we'll get all this figured out, folks. But in the meantime, of course, your Patreon funds will go towards keeping our show streaming and all that stuff that we do. So we love and appreciate all the support. And of course, if you are a Patreon member of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode. We record it right after this, where we play games, crack wise, having fun, doing all that stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ?
Yeah.
It's a new year. Do we have a new game to play?
A new year, Phil, and we do have a game. It is a Game Fan Review quiz.
Oh dear.
From the January 2000 issue.
A quarter of a century ago.
Diehard
Ready
Game
for some
Fan.
word salad.
Oh boy.
Little bit of a word salad. Lots of inside jokes that nobody outside of the Game Fan offices understood. A lot of references to Little Timmy.
I don't.
Because that's when they were
that was
playing
their standard like little kids game guy.
A kids game.
Oh,
it was Lil Timmy. It's for Lil Timmy.
Is that who Nick Rocks was getting a hold of?
No, this is.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Don't tell me not to do it.
Wow.
I think
this is post that era.
I think your warning should have gone to someone else.
However,
this is post. Oh, okay. This is after.
This is
after the big.
Not sure what to say about that.
This is after. This is after the staff change.
Yes.
Okay.
This is ECM era.
This is ECM era.
Oh, so it's going to be angry word salad.
Exactly.
Angry word salad. Yeah. See if you can decipher which are the nothing phrases he's using just to take up space. It's not going to be hard. Something that in the early 2000s era of EGM, we were not allowed to do. Like, you'd get called on it if you did some of that stuff. Yeah. Of course, Die Hard did it all the time. And yeah.
Well, please tune in afterward
for that. Which, by the way, I should say, after shows. Speaking of after shows, one went up on the public feed.
I was just going to plug this.
Okay, plug it.
Which one are we talking about again? So, if you are subscribed to our podcast feed, you are probably aware that on Thursday evenings, one of our old after shows goes up on the feed. So you can get a peek at what our Patreon friends experience brand new every week.
Yeah.
You get an episode from 2 years ago.
100 episodes ago.
What is it?
It's 100 episodes ago.
100 episodes. Okay. Which is approximately 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, give or take.
As the crow flies.
Exactly. And this is our much discussed Jeopardy quiz that was a listener submitted. And I guess we've talked about it many times, so it's not really spoiling the punchline, but unbeknownst to us, this quiz was entirely based upon the much forgotten NES game Werewolf. And it turned into a very interesting game.
It was really funny.
Yes.
It was
so
good.
That is available now on everybody's feeds to listen to. It's up on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah. It is.
So I put that in the show notes, I guess.
Yeah, I'll do that.
CJ takes care of everything, man. Let me tell you, this guy, what a trooper. We love him. So check out that after show. It is definitely one of the most memorable ones that we've done in recent memory.
True.
And if you like what you heard, and how could you? Our Patreon is right there waiting for you. And I'll tell you what, if you got a couple bucks left over, why don't you head over to patreon.com/Greg Seward to help support Greg's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter of the $3 variety,
also cheap.
Happy New Year, Satan.
And a happy new year to you and yours, Greg. How have you been?
Just trying to make it to 26.
Look, aren't we all, buddy? Let me tell you. Boy, oh boy. You know what? We're all in this together. You know, let's stand by each other. We're going to support each other. We're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to take care of our friends, our family, our loved ones. We're going to make it through, Greg. You and me, buddy. Side by side. Greg Seward and Satan himself. The best of friends.
Okay. You get early access to each new video. The new video is actually a little bit late. I didn't get it done in time, but hopefully this coming Saturday, $3 tier subscribers will have access to the newest video for January. Please watch for it.
and then watch it.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes.
Is that it then?
I think that's it.
Yep.
CJ,
Yeah.
my mind-boggling friend, thank you
Thank you, Phil.
for all of the effects you bring to all of us
Aw.
each and every day.
It's mind-boggling. Yeah.
Gregory,
Yo.
thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, hey, look at this. I was digging through a bunch of stuff the other day. Look what I found. I found a little plush. You recognize this fellow?
Little putt-putt.
Is that
That is Putt-Putt, the lovable car. I found my plush Putt-Putt and his little dog buddy Pep.
Where's he headed off to? The fair?
Oh, I think he's going to the zoo today.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. He's gonna go off and save the zoo. Maybe he'll join a parade later. Those Putt-Putt games are fun.
Never played them.
You know, they're meant for toddlers,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but they're charming little graphic adventure games.
Well, and some of the developers of those games went on to Sucker Punch.
That is
and
true.
Made Rocket Robot on Wheels, and then Sly Cooper, and
Yes,
then
indeed.
Infamous, and Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah,
I mean,
there's lineage there.
I know when I'm
So-
looking at Putt-Putt's charming purple face and his big happy grin, I'm absolutely thinking
Ghost of Yote.
exactly. I mean,
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, Pep. We don't have room for you here. We got the
Yeah.
Ghost of Yote is going to be riding in Putt-Putt today. I don't have a figure of
I wouldn't think so.
no,
Yeah.
but there you go. I was very delighted to be reunited with my plush Putt-Putt. I guess that's it. I thanked you guys, and now I
Yes.
want to thank you. Yes, you are wonderful, wonderful listeners. Greg's pointing at you. Well, he was. There he is. Now CJ is giving you the double guns. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, boy.
Pew pew.
We're all...
My thumbs cracked when I did that.
Oh, we're so old. So old. Each and every one of you, thank you very, very much. We hope you are having a wonderful new year, even though we're just a couple days into it. Let's try and keep that going for a few months more. And, as always, take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself, of course. And we hope to see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.